Well guys, welcome back to the nest. Hope you're all keeping well. Hope you had a great Halloween last Monday. I certainly did. Finally got out and God knows when for Halloween. You know, that's actually the first time I've actually been anywhere for Halloween, you know. A lot of the times, you know, I've just been stuck at home and all that, but, you know, it was great. Probably the best Halloween I've ever had. Welcome back to another movie review. I will have to say we're getting very close to the end of 1968. But we're continuing on with this movie. I don't know if this is our first sci-fi movie of the that I'm doing on this channel here, but this movie is dun 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 dun. Yes, you guessed correct by the theme song. 2001: A Space Odyssey. This movie was directed by a man named Stanley Kubrick. I never knew that theme song was from 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm going to be honest about this movie, guys. It was a great movie, but it was so boring. It was so boring, so it was. It just dragged on forever. First of all, it had that intermission. It had an intermission again at the beginning and in the break as well. But the music at the very beginning is just playing, you know, in the darkness, probably just to emphasize the space, you know. No, not even any stars, because I do know that in the beginning, God created the darkness, then heaven and earth. So, it's just absolutely nothing with the music playing. And then after the title, it starts with the first chapter, The Dawn of Man. It shows these apes out in this African plain. I can't believe they actually brought tapirs onto the set, you know. I know tapirs are alive today, but I think that was just to emphasize, you know, how they look prehistoric. You know, it's just set in those times, and, you know, the hunted back then was... No, the hunters now, back then, were the hunted. You know, basically a leopard sneaks up on the apes and just kills them and eats them. And then the ape comes across this skeleton and he uses these bones for tools. So basically it's evolving into us, pretty much. Then it fights off a rival gang. I gotta say, once it's all over, once they picked up those bones, because now they have weapons, the rival clan doesn't. Shows how much smarter our one is. The apes come across this weird alien-like monolith, and I do say we do see these monoliths throughout the film. Something that disappointed me about these monoliths is it never tells you where they're from. Like, it doesn't reveal their origins. That it's definitely not of this earth. But, you know, there have been sightings of these monoliths, you know, in IRL. And, you know, they're aliens. You never know. I will say this movie was very colourful. I do think that the music went along with it. It was great for this type of movie, you know, say you're just floating in space, and then you just see these people, like, you know, with anti-gravity effects, and then there's people walking, like, on walls and everything. I wonder how they do that. Do they have, like, some kind of strap on the shoe? Or do they have, like, you know, maybe they're just moving the camera while the people aren't? We'll never know. Guess I should have just done more research into this. And I can't believe that this movie came out the year before the first moon landing. So maybe, do you not feel like in a way this kind of persuaded people to actually get Neil Armstrong? NASA actually made Neil Armstrong become the first man on the moon by after watching this movie. If they can do it in a movie, and so can we. I do have to say, you know, a lot of the characters in this movie don't really have any goals. But another thing I was put off by is this movie is more shown through visuals rather than dialogue, and I think that's what's put me off a wee bit. But at the same time, I think I heard that Stanley Kubrick was saying that if people understood the story of 2001: Space Odyssey, then he failed. So he actually worked on me. He got what he wanted. But yeah, I just wish there was a lot more dialogue. And I want to know how they actually made a space station in the moon, you know, where they found the monoliths. Like, the monolith has been buried there for thousands of years. Then 18 months later, there are these two men, these astronauts on a spaceship with these other scientists in hypersleep, and they are the name of the ship, I gotta say, I love the name of the ship, Discovery 1, and it is being programmed by a computer named the HAL 9000. I gotta say, from the beginning, you know, the HAL 9000 is such a treacherous piece of artificial intelligence. You know, basically, whenever I was doing the chess game with Dave, I believe, you know, he actually didn't check. He was just trying to see if they could see through his lies. There has never been a fault, Dave, Frank, with an HAL computer, but we know better. Other thing I have to say is that, you know, I actually didn't know what to trust with the HAL 9000. Another thing I do love seeing is, say the food that the people eat in this movie, like, you know, they don't even have like actual food, like carrots or potatoes. They're basically just in these cartons, you know, carrot juice, potato juice, you know, people just drink it. Obviously I'd say it has the flavour of carrots, but, you know, people won't even have to eat proper stuff in the future. They can just drink, you know. Hope it's not like that for like burgers, like Big Macs, you know, because I love my Big Macs, you know, and I just don't want to be eating them just by drinking them out of a juice carton, if that makes sense, or a McFlurry, or anything like that, or a pizza. I don't know. Like, I love food like that, but I don't want them to end up in a current drink. Like, probably, like, I don't eat fruit and vegetables, I will say. I'm not saying why I don't eat fruit and vegetables, but, like, if they were just made in a juice, then fair enough, I would drink them. Like, I've had apple juice before, you know, but, you know, I'm okay, you know, having a fruit if it's in the form of a juice. Just as long as there's no, like, I drink orange juice if there's no bits in it. But yeah, that's probably why people are so healthy. Like, they'll eat anything as long as it's in the form of a juice. Then the HAL 9000, you know, Dave and Frank don't trust them. Like, they're on their way to Jupiter, like 18 months after people have looked at the second monolith on the moon. But that's another thing. I do have to say, I don't know what they were heading to Jupiter for. Like, my friend and I were watching this, and gotta say, my friend at the end of this movie, he was like, "What?" And, you know, I'm like, I'm the same. Like, Stanley Kubrick, his plan worked. Like I said before, but yeah, they're talking to each other about whether or not to trust Hal on this mission. I don't know what they're going to Jupiter for. Like, I actually think the characters have actually no goals at all in this movie. There's not that many characters in this movie. Like, it's more about visuals and all that. Like, you know, we had the apes in the beginning of the movie. But yeah, they're trying to talk to each other, but what they don't know is Hal is so smart that he can actually lip read. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. Like, he actually shoots Frank out of the space shuttle, out of the Discovery 1, and sends him flying. Dave unfortunately catches him, but he's too late to save him. I hear you were trying to disconnect me. Well, see, if you hadn't have been so devious and sneaky and all that, maybe they would have trusted you, Hal. Like, but that's what people say nowadays. Never, ever, ever trust technology. But luckily, Dave manages to go through into the system, and he manages to disconnect Hal. Dave, my mind is going. In a way, you kind of do feel sorry for Hal. You know, I think, you know, Dave, even though Hal is actually not a living being, he's more like a computer. Like, I actually think Dave feels sorry for him while doing this, but it's necessary because Hal has now betrayed them, killed Frank and the scientists by turning off their hypersleep, and it's the last resort Dave has to do. My mind is going. They gave me a song to sing. Want to hear it? Yes, Hal, sing it. Daisy, Daisy, you know, that was a creepy scene, you know, but at least Hal is peaceful whenever he dies. You know, he actually sings a song that he was given whenever he was born, you know. You know, but it was just so scary hearing that distorted voice. Another thing I didn't really enjoy is, the thing with this movie is it is so slow paced. Like, you know, it's boring. Let's just say it's so slow paced, and they just, another thing that takes up too much time with this movie is is what Dave was saying when he was going through the universe, because I do know no person has ever gone that far. Sorry, my phone went a wee bit funny there. 20% battery. Yeah, before I go any further, I have to use my phone here. My computer won't connect, so I'll have no way of using my camera to upload this video tonight. So I'll have to use my phone for this when I'm at my dad's house. But yeah, like, anyway, I wonder what it would be like going through the whole Milky Way. I know, I have heard it takes years to get through the whole universe. Like, I'd say you'd be dead by the time you get to the very end. But I did enjoy the colours and the visuals and everything, but I just felt like, you know, Stanley Kubrick was wasting his time, you know, by putting all that in, you know, just going through all the colours and everything. It was beautiful colours, but it just took up too much time. And then Dave, all of a sudden, for no reason, I did see the monolith flying through the through space, but it doesn't say why, you know. No goals, no explanation for the monoliths. But Dave goes into a room, like a very, very fancy house, and how did he even get there? He's in the universe, he's not even on Earth. Not, like, the only time this movie is set on Earth is at the very beginning when the apes are around in the prehistoric times. But Dave sees an older version of himself, a posh version of himself when he's eating his dinner, and a final version of himself when he's lying in bed near dying. And then all of a sudden he turns into this, like, fetus, and Dave is this fetus, and he's just looking down on Earth. It's as if, I think I know what happened, he's basically become one with the universe. It took me a while to figure that one out, but like I said, at the end of the movie, as soon as the credits pop up, you know, I did enjoy the music for this movie, you know, da 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 dun dun da dun da, you know, for the floating. I do think it fitted in very well with the floating in the space, but afterwards my friend Christoph and I were like, what? Do you know what I mean? There was no explanation for it. It was all just about visuals, showing people what we could do back then in 1968, you know, but it worked. Like, it was a great movie, but it just went on forever. It was going nowhere. It was very slow paced, very boring. But I will say, I'm glad it's all over with now. You know, I've put my review up here. You know, it's all I need to do. But, you know, I just heard about it. I just thought, I've heard it's a very big movie, one of the greatest movies of all time, from 1968. So I just thought I'd give it a wee try. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. We've only got one more movie to watch from 1968. I'm not telling you what it is yet, but I'm having a wee bit of trouble getting it on DVD at the minute. Like, I'm probably just going to have to order it, but let's hope it's going to be worth it. But yeah, hopefully it's something you guys are more familiar with. I've not seen it yet, but, you know, hopefully the views come in there. But thank you so much for watching, you guys. Don't forget to like, comment what you would like to see next in this on this channel. Tell your friends about this. You know, turn on the notifications, because I do feel like people aren't really turning on the notifications, because then you'll know whenever all my videos are coming up on the Nest of the Raven. But don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends. You know, keep supporting the channel. You know, it grows every time I seem to upload a new video. But thank you so much, guys, and I shall see you back at the Nest very soon. Don't know when yet, but see you in the Nest very soon. Love you all to death.